Hello, Sunshine.
What you doing, guys?
It's Mrs. Wilburn.
And Mrs. Klein.
And we're here with your next podcast. We're still on Lesson 9, the Constitution, a more perfect union. Your guiding question is, how has the Constitution created a more perfect union? And today we're going to start with talking about the executive branch.
In Section 3, you guys.
Yeah.
All right. The executive branch carries out the laws. The last one we learned about the legislative branch making the laws. Now we're going to find out about the executive branch. Okay. Article 2 of the Constitution describes the branch of government that fills this role, the executive branch. The head of the executive branch is the president.
Okay. Delegates at the Constitutional Congress, were not prepared to let people elect the president directly. Instead, they decided that the president would be selected by a group of electors.
All right. The president serves a 4-year term. Under the 22nd Amendment, a president may be reelected only once.
Mm-hmm. A president must be a natural-born American citizen and at least 35 years old.
All right. The powers of the president. In addition to carrying out laws passed by Congress, the president is commander-in-chief of the nation's military forces.
Okay. Now, sometimes it's necessary to remove a president.
Okay.
So there are rules in the Constitution on removing the president. The Constitution gives Congress the power to remove a president or other officials from office if they commit certain crimes related to their duties. The House of Representatives can vote to impeach the president. To impeach means to formally accuse the president of the crimes specified in the Constitution. The crimes include bribery or other high crimes and misdemeanors. When the House votes to impeach, the Senate puts the president on trial, with the senators serving as the jury. And if found guilty, the president is removed from office.
Okay, all right, you guys. Now we're going to move on to Section 4, which is about the judicial branch. Their job is to interpret the law. Protecting the Constitution is one of the principal responsibilities of the third branch of government, the judicial branch, which consists of the system of federal courts and judges.
Yeah, so there's the federal court system that we're going to talk about next. Congress has authorized 2 main sets of inferior federal courts. These lower courts are called district courts and appellate courts.
Most cases involving federal laws are first heard in district court.
Courts that review cases are called courts of appeal or appellate courts, and they consider only whether the original trial was fair and legal. A decision by an appellate court can be appealed to the Supreme Court.
All right, let's move on to talk a little bit about the powers of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the last stop in the judicial system. Its decisions are final, and they are binding on all lower courts.
Early in its history, the Supreme Court defined the power of judicial review in Marbury versus Madison, which we'll be learning about.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is the power to decide whether laws and acts made by the legislative and executive branches conflict with the Constitution.
All right. Moving on to Section 5, you guys, which is all about checks and balances between the branches. And they kind of hinted a little bit about some of these things already. Mm-hmm. All right. The framers of the Constitution were very concerned about achieving a balance between a strong national government and protection for individual freedoms. They hoped that dividing the federal government into 3 branches was one way to limit the government's power. This separation of powers was a key part of the framers' vision of limited government. But what would keep one branch from dominating the others?
Okay. Because of this concern, the framers developed a system that would enable each branch of the government to limit the power of the other 2 branches. This system is called checks and balances.
Okay. Checks allow one branch of government to block the actions of another branch.
Okay. And then balances allow each branch of the government to have some role in the actions and power of the other branches. And we're going to be diving deep into this in class, guys.
Definitely a little bit more, you guys.
Yeah. All right. So just to summarize what we just talked about, let's just do a little review here. So we'll start with the executive branch. Article 2 creates the executive branch, which is headed by the president. The president serves a 4-year term and may be reelected once. The president carries out the laws passed by Congress. Other powers of the president include making treaties and appointing Supreme Court justices.
All right, then we learned about the judicial branch. Article 3 establishes the Supreme Court and gives Congress the power to create lower courts. Supreme Court decisions are binding on all lower courts. The power of judicial review allows the Supreme Court to decide whether Laws and actions by the legislative and executive branches are unconstitutional.
Okay, and then we ended with checks and balances. The framers developed a system of checks and balances that enables each branch of government to limit or check the power of the other two branches. The Constitution provides checks and balances in the powers of each branch.
All right, you guys, see ya.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, you guys, see you later.
Take it easy.